What's going on, everybody? K2 here with week 7 of the Battle Union. The TBU this week, we are going up against Sciz and the Orsomerset Scizors. The link to his channel will be in the description below. Also in the description below is the link to my team analysis video, which will explain in detail what mons I brought, why I brought them, in order to face off against his team. So if you want to check that out, know exactly what all my sets and my EV spreads and everything are, go ahead, check that video out. Make sure to check out my opponent. He's an awesome dude. But let's go ahead and get right into the match. First thing that I noticed when looking at his team is the lack of Vaporeon, aka the lack of Mamoswine switch-ins. Everything on his team pretty much just dies once Megalopunny is put in range, or just straight taken out. Mamoswine really doesn't have any trouble taking on his team. He can switch in the Granbull, get an Intimidate off, but I have other things on my team to take care of it. So, first things first, I want to make sure that I lead off with the Togekiss, because if he leads off with the Megalopunny, he can go ahead and get out a Fake Out on it, and I can outspeed the following turn because I am Choice Scarfed, and I can kill it with an Air Slash. Worst case scenario would be him leading with the Registeel, but I can of course just Baton Pass out of there. So that's what I'm going to do. He could alternatively lead with the Torkoal, which is actually what he's going to do. He's going to try and set up his rocks right away. So as I said, I'm going to Baton Pass out. And my plan here is to go into the Excadrill. I am specially defensive and I have Stealth Rocks and Rapid Spin. So what I can do is I can get myself in a situation to potentially get rocks on his side of the field while keeping rocks off of my side of the field. But that's kind of a tall order to ask because he does outspeed me. I'm going to go ahead and get up my Stealth Rocks as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp. And he actually misses this first Will-O-Wisp, which is going to be pretty big because I'm going to be able to get off a Toxic a turn sooner than I had expected. Toxic on here was for the Zapdos, which he actually didn't bring. So that's the thing. He's actually going to get off his Will-O-Wisp here. I probably should have gone straight for an Earthquake instead of a Toxic on the first turn, but like I said, I wanted to make sure that I try and get rocks off of the field. So what happens here is I'm going to get up my Rapid Spin off, and he shows that he has Earthquake instead of Lava Plume. So since I'm specially defensive, this does a whole lot more damage than I actually originally intended. Lava Plume would have done about, I don't know, 20 damage less. I'd have to look over the calc again, but you can see here that I'm going to die after 2 more Will-O-Wisp, or 2 more burn turns. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and weaken him a little bit as he sets up his rocks again. And right here he can just click rocks again as I go for the Rapid Spin and die to the burn. That would be his best play, and I'm going to lose Excadrill here. But the most important thing is that I keep rocks on his side of the field. So if he doesn't Rapid Spin here, I can just come in with my Mamoswine, knock it out with an Earthquake, or if he wants to switch out, that's whatever. But the most important thing is to keep rocks on his side of the field, because it wears down his team to the point where attacks like Ice Shard, attacks like Eruption in the Sun will most likely just be very good chances to kill, or straight Oko things. So that is why I really wanted rocks on the field. He played that very well. He got his Torkoal in a very favorable position in order to get rocks up, but he wasn't able to spin them away, so that's a plus for me. I'm just going to send in Mamoswine as I previously mentioned, and I'm going to fire off an Earthquake, and Torkoal is gone, which means rocks are up on the field to stay for the remainder of the match. So right here, he's going to come in with Megalopunny, and I really don't want to stay in here and take unnecessary damage, so I'm going to go out into my Togekiss, take some rocks damage, and I thought that by Baton Passing out the first turn, I had for sure revealed that I was Choice Scarf, and based on the damage done by the fake out, here he probably could have seen that I wasn't a defensive variant. So I'm actually able to take him out with an air slash here instead of him switching out. The crit didn't matter. I did a minimum of 97.5%, and because of rocks, it was guaranteed that he was going to go down. So right here, after the Megalopunny goes down, I decide it would be best just to stay in and sack off my Togekiss and allow myself to get into Latias and set up the Heat Rock boosted Sunny Day. So that is what I'm doing here. I am leaving Togekiss in order to sack it off, but you can see he has Flash Cannon, and I live at 7%, which means I died to a Stealth Rock switch in, which means I can go straight into my Latias here, and I can set up a Sunny Day, and instead of going for a Healing Wish, I can save the differential on my Latias here, and I can go ahead and sack off the Togekiss instead to the Stealth Rocks. So him getting up rocks and keeping them up actually ended up being more of a detriment to his team, because I get up a free Sunny Day and 6 turns in order to use it with. So that's what's going to happen here. He paralyzes me, but that's not really a big of a deal. I'm going to come in with Togekiss, and that's going to be a free chance for me to go into Typhlosion and fire off Eruptions. Now, this is where having rocks on my side of the field is kind of a detriment, because Eruption is going to do less damage. I have Flamethrower over Fire Blast, but Eruption would do more than Fire Blast at this point of health anyway. So it didn't really matter. But if I didn't have rocks on my side of the field, I would have straight up won unless he had a specially defensive Assault Vest Scramble, which he sends in right here, leading me to believe that it was his only real switch, and it was his only chance in order to live something. So I'm going to go for the Eruption again. And this was a roll whether he died or not, but he lives on just a smidgen of HP and is able to get off an Earthquake. So there goes my chance at he gets a crit too. Didn't matter because Earthquake does a whole lot. I think it did a minimum of 80%. But as I said, the Eruption would have completely swept his team at that point in the sun. So right here, his Gramble is actually in range to die to Stealth Rock on the switch in, and Mamoswine is able to actually just sweep up the game with Ice Shard. So even though I didn't kill the Gramble, I put it into a range where Mamoswine could just come in and get off 3 Ice Shards and basically win the game. He's going to try and send in his Gramble here in order to get off and Intimidate, but he dies to the Stealth Rocks, and Intimidate will not activate because he faints first. And his last Mon here is actually his Landorus Eye, which is also going to go down to an Ice Shard. Even if he was Yachi Berry, it would have done so much to the point where I could just bring in Tangrowth and knock it out with a Hidden Power Ice. So that is actually going to be the game. Mamoswine pulling out the clutch win at the end, but Typhlosion put in a whole lot of work this week, just by knocking out the Registeel, which could have lived a couple it could have lived an Earthquake from Mamoswine, and putting the Gramble into a range where it was rendered useless and Mamoswine could just win the game. So that was the match. We are now sitting at 4-3, sitting pretty. We are still at 4th in the table after this week. This is one of the last matches to go up this week because his internet was down, which is why this video is so late. His internet went down and we weren't able to battle until Sunday morning. Sunday morning, rain is falling. Well, not really, because it was a sun team, not rain team. Whatever. That's enough Maroon 5 for 1 month of videos. Anyway, that was the match. We're sitting at 4-3, 4 wins in a row. That is huge for us. Next week, we are going up against Josh Squirtacular and the Kentucky Kecleons. So that will be a good match. I am really looking forward to next week. Already getting planning done, and we are going to see what happened. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like on this video, and go ahead, comment below whatever you want to. I don't care. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.